Oh, that song that's my talk. Thank you for coming. I'll see you next Sunday. Love Cover Me. Yeah, wow. That's Gary Lynn Floyd. This month in the Centers for Spiritual Living, our theme is Loving Out Loud. Loving Out Loud. And my talk title today is What's Love Got to Do with It? Isn't there a song? Mm-hmm. Tina Turner. Well, what's love got to do with it? Well, I think just about everything. Do you agree?
Yes.
So the great Michael Beckwith, Reverend Michael Beckwith, who has been one of my teachers for many years, said, during this time in human history, polarization appears to be running rampant. Anybody notice that? Whether it's political division, giving birth to creating enemies, road rage incidents, racism, bigotry, even war being normalized now, stress being normalized. During such times, he says, the true revolutionaries are not those who are quick to fight, but those who are strong enough to love. He says, no one enters the planet a hater. It's learned. Yeah. And individuals are hypnotized into it. Lovers of God, lovers of humanity, he says, those who love to love, this is our moment. Rise in love and with a fierceness emerging from a true sense of oneness with all the power of the universe. Be a midwife of the great beloved community and let your heart be big enough to embrace the entire world, whatever it looks like. How about that? Thank you, Michael. So in the science of mind, we often say that the word God is synonymous with love. Because God, or infinite intelligence, spirit, source, the divine, whatever name you connect with, is all there is. So love must be all there is. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, God is love and God is law. The love of God is omnipresent and the law of God is omnipresent. The love of God is the divine givingness, the eternal outpouring of spirit through its creation. So we, you, me, we, are that outpouring of spirit. Who we are is who we are meant to be. Each one of us, I believe, was brought to this moment in history for a divine purpose. You might not think you signed up for it, but you did. So when we embrace who we are at our core, we align with our own spiritual truth, which is love. So what's love got to do with it? Everything. Absolutely everything. So today we're going to explore the idea of relationships, the state of our relationships in our lives through the lens of love. And there are two primary relationships we have. So I want you to think of an equal-armed cross. So first is the vertical relationship we have with spirit, or the God of our understanding. And it's really more than vertical, and I'm just using that to illustrate a principle. Because it's really about the relationship we have with that divinity within us. That relationship we have or we don't have, but it's there. And in our teaching here in the Science of Mind, the divinity within us is what we call the principle of Christ, or the Christ consciousness, right? You've heard of that. Which is the love and the light of God within our human soul. So that's the first aspect of relationship, this vertical relationship between our humanness and that divinity within us. And there's a second kind of relationship, which is the horizontal that we have, and those are our human relationships that we have with each other and in the world. And I would suspect that that's where most of our problems arise. You agree? Yeah. Yet by the time we come here to a place such as the Foothill Center, we are looking for, or we've already established some sort of relationship with our own inner divinity and the spirit that indwells us. So we've had some kind of inkling like, there's got to be more to me than this flesh and bone. So slide. Ernest Holmes said, nothing can keep us from the love of God. What a comfort. What joy to know that all is well with the soul, your soul. And again, it's usually in the world and in our human relationships where our difficulties tend to arise. And what we need to realize is that both of these relationships, the horizontal and the vertical, are already perfect. Oh, they are? No, they're not. They are absolutely, totally, completely perfect. They already exist, and the process of healing is the process of revealing that perfection in our experience of life. It's about releasing all that we have projected upon those relationships so that they can operate freely in our life through a lens of love. Think about that. If you put on your love glasses in a difficult relationship you're having right now, what would come up for you? How would you approach it? What would you say? Who would you be? Because we already have a relationship with Spirit. The truth is we've always been one with Spirit. We always will be. There's never a time when we're not. The only thing that changes over time is our awareness of that oneness, that connection. That's already in there. It's already who we are. So what if our relationship to Spirit, the vertical, and our relationship to others is already in a state of unity and love? Oh, what if? And through our spiritual practices, over time, we gradually come into a fuller and greater awareness of that love and oneness. Because we're always co-creating with Spirit. And for the most part, it's unconscious. So it's vital to recognize that there's a relationship between this vertical and horizontal, for better or worse, and that our relationship with Spirit affects our relationship with others. And our relationship with others affects our relationship with Spirit. Right? You cannot change one without changing the other. Hear that. You can't change one without changing the other. Deepak Chopra says, when your internal reference point is your spirit, when you are immune to criticism and unfearful of any challenge, you can harness the power of love and use energy creatively for the experience of affluence and evolution. That's really important. Yeah, we want to harness the power of love that is already within us. So when we're in conflict or upset with another person, are you ever? Yeah. We can call upon Spirit to bring its healing power to that relationship. And to the degree that we heal that human relationship, then we in turn even have a greater awareness of the power of Spirit and love in our life. So there's a reciprocal thing happening. It's a circulation, right? So remember, over 2,000 years ago, Jesus the Christ told us that we should love God with all of our heart, the vertical, and also to love our neighbors as we love ourselves, the horizontal. And that's because love is the awareness of oneness. And again, it's the true state of all of our relations. So when the vertical and the horizontal are in harmony, it's the awareness of oneness with Spirit and with each other. And then we are expressions of love. We are in that higher consciousness. Thich Nhat Hanh said true love is made of 4 elements: loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Contemplate that for a moment. Where can we put that into our own life? Into a relationship, especially a difficult relationship? When we look at this through the level of principle, it's pretty straightforward. We have to take responsibility and do our spiritual work. Do you agree? We can no longer afford the luxury of a grudge, I believe. We can no longer accuse our neighbor of wrongdoing or ignorance, because we must be responsible for healing whatever experience is upsetting us in our life. It's usually related to some place in our consciousness that hasn't been fully realized or healed. That's why we have practitioners here, and people that support us in raising our consciousness and opening us to something that may be holding us back from that love and forgiveness. We must learn to live as love in all of our relationships, especially with ourselves. Practicing self-forgiveness, loving kindness to ourselves. And that's the great opportunity, isn't it, in life? And it's difficult work. It can be difficult work. I'm the first to admit that. But it can be done. I am in the process of doing it daily through my practices of paying attention. Where's my attention going? Am I leaning into love, or am I leaning into criticism? Have I unforgiven this person? Am I still pissed off? Am I holding that grudge? Daily, it's a daily practice of cleaning. And it's taken me years and lots of support, and the place where I got the most support was right here, in these teachings, in this spiritual community. I was, and I know some of you are all the time, provided with inspiration, education, and loving support that we need to learn how to live in the process of co-creating with Spirit through the lens of love. We learn here how to tap into that gentle power that's within us. When I reflect on my life now as opposed to when I first came into these teachings, which was 26 years ago, I realize that I no longer have to deal with difficult people in my life. I only have to deal with difficult me. I have to deal with difficult me every single day. And stubborn me. Is anybody else stubborn? But as long as I'm willing to do that and take responsibility and deal with difficult, stubborn me, I don't have to deal with difficult people in my life. I take responsibility. It's in me. How can I change my reaction, my perspective? You know, I love the work of Byron Katie. And she has a process she does where when someone upsets you or irritates you or pisses you off, that's a very spiritual word, she silently says to herself, looking at the person or reflecting on them, "Oh, honey, you can't irritate me. You can't upset me. Only I can do that." Do you get that? "Oh, honey, you can't irritate me. You can't make me upset. Only I can do that." So that's taking responsibility. It's not always easy, but it's so powerful when we can do that. What if all the difficult people we have known in the past, we could probably have a list of them, I do, what if they have been our teachers? Oh, they were my teacher. They have been the ones who have taught or are willing to teach us how to forgive and love. That's huge. If we look back, in my coaching, I do a whole process of forgiveness with people where we go way back and look at things and just start to unravel that onion of forgiveness. Because if it still has a grip on you, your heart is closed to your good. And that's just the spiritual truth. Our center here created a sacred covenant a few months ago in order to draw in a new spiritual leader. And one of the things that the co-creation committee came up with was from Corinthians. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. And Ernest Holmes, love is the greatest healing and drawing power on earth. So love was our theme, as you can tell. And our purpose was, God's the love that I am. God's the love that I am. And we have that chant that we do. So our vision for our new spiritual leader is that they guide us through the power of love and principle. I believe we're all on the threshold of the next step in our evolution through our heart. So I would like us to be leaders in consciousness, a loving consciousness, and let go of our resistance to love, and let Spirit be the leader in our life. Let's call upon our courage to face challenges that are necessary for us to bring our ideas into expression. Because the path of healing, all those relationships, leads to newness and possibilities. And our foundation is faith, our faith. We are a faith-based community. We have faith in a greater good, no matter what's showing up in our life, no matter what we drag with us forward. We have the faith that we can move forward. This too shall pass. We all know that we need to heal those horizontal relationships. But again, if you don't have that vertical relationship available to you, it's impossible. Because our ego mind will have a grip and won't let go. But when we drop into that center of ourselves, that's the freedom. So the last slide. Dr. Holmes said, the essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotions, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. And in that particular saying, he goes on to say, only love knows love, and love knows only love. Words cannot express its depth or meaning. A universal sense alone bears witness to the divine fact. God is love, and love is God. We can never get agreement in the world, I believe, without the intervention of the divine, without connecting and surrendering to our spiritual nature, the truth of our being. And the healing that takes place within us when we do that, when we strengthen that vertical relationship, changes everything. Changes everything in us, as us, around us. What's love got to do with it? Everything. So I close with this thought for you, is just ask yourself, how can I show up as love in my life? Do I need to heal a horizontal relationship I'm in right now? Or look at it through the lens of love? And how can you deepen your vertical relationship with God, the God of your understanding? Ask yourself, what would love do here? When we get tangled up, unforgiving, no, I'm right, they're wrong, which is happening a lot. Open our hands. What would love do here? And let it go. Be free. Be free. Let's take that into prayer. So take a breath with me. And we simply drop into our sacred heart. We drop into that place within us that has never, ever been separate from its good. That place within us that is a pure light of truth and understanding. It is from this place within me that I call forth the infinite Spirit of God, the spiritual truth, that light. Recognizing the magnificence of this infinite intelligence we call God, or love, or spirit, or energy. This oneness is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient, all-knowing, everywhere present, all-powerful. It is love with a big capital L. And as his presence is everywhere and in everything, each of us is a unique expression of this one. We are each an instrument in this divine symphony of life, playing our tune. And so I'm knowing and claiming today for each of us that there is an opening in heart and consciousness for us to say yes to love in our vertical and horizontal relationships, to say yes to that healing power of the divine within us, that we call forth that power when we need it, and that everything necessary to the full expression of our well-being, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, is available to us through the mind of God within us. Yes, that's the truth. And so we relax into this knowing that with God consciousness, with love consciousness, all things are possible. All things. There's a healing taking place right now for each of us in some way because we're open to the truth. And so we breathe in that essence of light and love into the very cells of our being, every organ, action, function, gland, every part of our being, every system, our circulation, our elimination, our nervous system, all the systems of our body coming into an aligned place of love, harmony, and balance. I hold this truth for each of us. And so I'm knowing that this or something greater is happening on the unseen side of life, simply because it is the truth. We've said yes, and we open to it. So it is with joy in my heart that I simply release my words into the infinite, loving, creative soil of the divine mind. We're planting that seed of love today. Plant it with me in your mind. Just plant that seed of love. Plant it and know that it is sprouting into something for you that is magnificent. Healing a relationship, healing the body, healing the emotions. Yes, and it's happening now. And so I release my word knowing it is powerful. I simply release it into the law, that creative soil, and I let it be. With such gratitude, I let it be. And join me in affirming this prayer. And so it is.